CIA has now entered the lucrative market of social networking surveillance in a big way. The CIA's investment arm, In-Q-Tel, reads your blog posts, keeps track of your Twitter updates, and even checks out your book reviews on Amazon. U.S. Strategic Command and the Joint Chiefs of Staff have used the firm Concepts and Strategies, which has handled media monitoring and translation services for them. They have always been in the business of looking for social media engagement specialists with Defense Department experience and a high proficiency in Arabic, Farsi, French, Urdu, and Russian. But as we've seen, as many of us have seen over the decades, those of us who read about COINTELPRO or Operation Chaos, and we know that from the Pentagon, we see media manipulation. We saw it during the run-up to the Iraq War through DriftNet warrantless wiretapping of Americans' electronic communications. We saw the secret state becoming a law unto itself. We saw the self-perpetuating bureaucracy that always thrives on duplicity. They thrive on fear. They thrive on death. They thrive on cold, hard cash. And so I was turned on to a story that a reporter, a whistleblower reporter, said that it was very concerning, very worrying that Facebook is employing former CIA agents to monitor and moderate misinformation policies there on this huge social media platform that we've all been a part of, that we all participate in. Alan McLeod, who published a piece last week about the ex-CIA agents working for Facebook, reported that the decision to employ them to moderate content was worrying because the CIA has a long history of infiltrating media organizations. Quote, the CIA has a terrible track record from everything from organizing coups to running black sites all over the world to even just planting a load of false information to the public domain to suit their own agenda. McLeod goes on to say, he says, we're now relying on these people to tell us what's fact and what is fiction and to sort truth and fiction from falsehood online. Now, we know that Facebook has always been under fire for trying to contain what the mainstream media calls misinformation. And they've been at this now for years. They've put Zuckerberg on trial many times, show trials for him just as much as they do for everyone else. And so now it's been revealed, and for some it's old news, that Facebook employs third-party fact-checking organizations to reduce the spread of false and harmful content. People who run these fact-checking organizations are either CIA or ex-CIA. And this guy, McLeod, Alan McLeod, he wrote that Facebook has employed dozens of former CIA agents primarily to work in the fields of security. They're hired to work in the content moderation areas. And he also goes on to say that a limited amount of people who are experts in cybersecurity, especially with CIA ties, they're also employed by Facebook. But McLeod goes on to say that Americans are, quote, not secure from what our own government is doing, the more control the current and former officials have on our technology. You know, we've been told by the mainstream media that Russia and China have flooded the internet with misinformation. But see, there's no guarantee that the CIA isn't doing the same thing. And since we now know that everything, that we've suspected is now coming to light, that the CIA or former CIA are running the fact checkers on all of your networks, then this says a lot about what and why you get banned from Facebook or shadow banned from Facebook. According to a detailed report by Open the Government, Jeff Bezos and Amazon were favorites of the U.S. intelligence community from day one, and they still enjoy a rather cozy and lucrative relationship. Currently, more than half of the former government employees hired by Amazon have been from the Defense Department. Goes on to say that Amazon provides cloud services to the CIA at a cost of billions. Also in 2013, Amazon signed a Pentagon IT contract for $10 billion to create the Joint Enterprise Defense Infrastructure Program, or the JEDI program. According to the Pentagon, Amazon Technology supports their lethality and enhanced operation efficiency. After a more recent CIA-Amazon deal in November of 2020, a company spokesperson explained that Amazon is, quote, honored to continue to support the intelligence community as they expand their transformational use of cloud computing. Our lives are currently being manipulated. There's no doubt about it, right? I mean, they're controlled, manipulated. Fact checkers control and manipulate information. And what is it? It's being done now by what? Ex-CIA, ex-FBI, ex-military, maybe shadow government people. And this all transcends national borders or loyalty. You realize this. It has nothing to do with borders or loyalty. This corporate state nexus coerces you into focusing on trivialities like Hollywood or party politics, woke whims, LGBTQ, critical race theory, January 6th insurrection, all of the distractions that do nothing to inform you of the encroachment of a world government and the possibilities of war and their depopulation agenda. You don't get any of that. Why? Because it's part of core intelligence. And core intelligence cannot be reported because these media people have representatives, former CIA, former intelligence ops within their offices, sitting in their chairs, doing reports on the nightly news. Meanwhile, the clowns you voted for, the media you watch, and the social media that we all obsess over are all owned and operated by mostly faceless psychopaths that move effortlessly between the public and private sectors. They manufacture your opinions. They manufacture your desires. They manufacture your dreams. But their power is so tenuous. I mean, if it's true freedom and autonomy you want, all you have to do is stop conforming and stop fearing the wrath of the hive mind. Sure, it's never easy to buck the system, but if you don't, you're living a life of delusion, submission, and fear. Yeah, I monitor Facebook. I monitor Twitter. I monitor all these because these are information sources. And you have to take that information you get from these sources and you have to use discernment. And when I see fact checkers put stuff up, that they go into minutia and they talk about things that are out of context and whatever, I tend to just kind of put that aside and say, well, let me go see if I can do some, back checking of my own or fact checking of my own. Go by and recheck my sources. Make sure that I'm not pushing disinformation or misinformation. Because I'm not in the job to do that. That's not my job. My job is to break through that misinformation, break through that intelligence Band-Aid, and give you the truth. That's what we do here at Ground Zero. And now we know that there is a COINTELPRO Mockingbird type of activity going on with the internet. Not just the news organizations, but the news organizations being dictated or the news organizations dictating intelligence in the internet. You can't escape it.